Before we start, can we just say how annoying people are in the animation community? I'm talking about literally so many people, mainly twitter.com. Maybe it's just Twitter. I need to stop using that website, but Jesus Christ, it's addicting to see all the dumb stuff that goes on that website. But from both sides of the argument for representation in animation, everyone just seems to be really, really stupid. Why are you all angry at each other over this for no reason, sending death threats, calling people stupid idiots? It's a whole lot of nonsense. And I just want to say this video is open to all debate in the comments on how you guys feel about that before we get into it, because I'm going to say some stuff that may not be liked by both sides. So let's just let it rock.
You don't know me, but my name's Sai. I'm just the old head. You too funny guy.
When I think of representation in animation, the first thing that always comes to my head is, what is the purpose of that character in that story? I think about, is the story centered around these different things? Is it centered around the character being black? Is it centered around the character being Hispanic, the LGBT member? What is the point of this character? Is the character a borderline stereotype? Is the character used as comedic purpose? What are you using the character for? Because you can bring all these different types of representation to your show, but why? Is it just a character? Are you making this person a normal person? Or are you using them as a pillar to get certain groups of people to watch your show? It's a very difficult thing to talk about, because a lot of people say, if they add a character, how are they going to showcase the culture without it being in some way stereotypical? Which at this point, I don't even have an answer. Because are you going to just have a character that's there, but they act nothing like their culture? But if you do that, it's a culture. At what point does it become cultural appropriation? It's a really tough battle that animators struggle with all the time. You look at shows like Dead End, which that show, you know who it's targeted to, and you know the type of person that is going to want to watch this show. Or you look at shows like The Boondocks, which it's The Boondocks, you know what it's targeted towards. But you look at these different shows and it's like, at what point is it wrong in the way they do it? With Boondocks, obviously it's a play on the black culture as a whole, and it's delivering a message about it in a positive and negative light. But then you got shows, like I said, like Dead End, where I'm gonna be honest, I watched 2 episodes of this and I had to drop it. This show is awful. Don't watch it. It's awful for other reasons. Not because it's gay, but because it's just bad. But I guess to the point where, at what point are we making these changes and add these characters to our show to make the show interesting or better or more diverse, or are we just doing it to please a group of people that probably don't really care? In reality, they're just going to pretend to care just for a few clout points on the internet. In a perfect world, we'll have characters of all different races, genders, sexualities in our stories, and they'll just be natural like just the normal world. Or we'll get to the point where it's just everything's just a way for one group of people to push their beliefs on another group of people. Or we have something where nothing has any diversity and we just are stuck with generic white male talking generic white male. Don't send me to that era, please. Neither of those eras sound good. But for me, when it comes to representation in your show, I say go for it. It's always really nice to see a black character in a show or a gay person in a show. When I'm part of these communities, it's like, oh, they're just like me for real. But when you add these characters to your media, your writing, your story, don't make that their only personality trait. There's a good way to do these things. There are good ways to showcase diversity in your show without making it, kind of stereotypical, racist, homophobic, sexist, all this nonsense, and still keeping it fresh. For example, we look at a show like Adventure Time. We have Bubblegum and Marceline. Those characters are canonically together. They're lesbians, and they don't really draw super crazy attention to it. They just are. And no one brings it up. No one really says that's weird, that's whack. They just let it rock. That's cool. It shows kids that they could just, be in these type of relationships, doesn't matter gender, but at the same time doesn't hyper focus on it and try to say, yes, you must do this one thing. Like, it doesn't do these things, and I think that's a really nice way to do it. You have stuff like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, my goat. I'm actually gonna be in for Halloween. My goat, Miles Morales. And it's like, dude, he's just Miles Morales. He's not the black Spider-Man. People will tell you that all the time. It's the black Spider. He's literally just the next Spider-Man. He has his own personality, he has his own style, and it showcases 2 cultures really well, and I think that's really sick. There's a way to balance your diversity in your characters and make them of these different groups without making it, the main focus. Gravity Falls does this amazingly. Did you know that the police officers are together? They showcase them all the time. They're always having a lovely romance. It's done extremely well. There's something about it. There's something about adding stuff in shows without drawing attention to it that I really like. You have these shows with these hit stories, these mythical worlds, these crazy diverse things, but you're not hyper focusing on these different aspects of the people. You're not dialing them down into being just a trope. You're not doing the South Park where you have the token black character. You're just making these characters. It's even done well back in the past. Like Gerald he's the token black character, but Gerald's just a really cool dude. He's just Arnold's friend. They're just boys. With representation, people see it as only a black or a white thing. And I don't mean that as like the African race, but like it can only be good or it can only be bad. But in reality, it's just gray. You could do bad examples of representation. You could be super hyper stereotypical, but you could also have a show where it's like, why are all the characters not diverse? You're in this location. Why not feature more characters that are like this? Or just add some variety to your cast. And it's a whole difficult balance between people that think it's good, that think it's bad, that think it's really hard to pinpoint. But in reality, we all love animation. We all want to see ourselves in characters. But doesn't matter if the character's white, black, gay, or straight. We still can connect with these characters. I'm wearing a Rika Kawaii jacket. That's a white woman. But I relate to that character so much, and I don't really have to change this character to do it. It's like the whole thing with like the making the character, changing character skin colors to black and edits and stuff. It's like a whole thing, especially in the anime community. You guys are the most, Jesus. The anime community are the biggest offenders of this. There's so much xenophobia and weirdness in that community that just disgusts me. And most of us are black that like this stuff. Overall, for me, like I said, with representation, I think it's neat. It's always cool to see a guy like me in a show, or characters like this or like that in a show. But don't make that the focus of your show. Make your show your show. Make it amazing. Make it have some crazy plot, some crazy story, really funny, whatever the hell you want to make. I don't really care, nigga. You can do whatever the hell you want. But just try to make good shows. A show can be good and feature a lot of representation. A show can be good and feature a little representation. But remember, they're just shows. We're all just sitting here at home being loser nerds, watching cartoons in our 20s. So why not just sit down and enjoy the ride? Anyway, it's been Kawaii, your local neighborhood beautiful person. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.